Loree, who you all know, of course, as Michael Myers in Halloween Resurrection. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Good, Joe. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got my poster all hanged up and looking good with your signature on it.
I like your T-shirt too.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, fortunately, I put on a little bit of weight, so
Well,
I
you
keep
and me both.
yeah, I keep telling everybody that it shrinks in the washer and dryer, and they're just like, right. Nobody believes
I tell everybody I put on a few. I call them pandemic pounds.
it. Well, exactly. I think we all have. I think we all
Well,
have.
what was there to do when the pandemic was on but to sit around and drink and eat?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Nothing, nothing. I like devoured myself with. I'm a big Pepsi drinker, right? And
Are you?
yeah, I'm not a diet soda guy, but I've been drinking diet soda like crazy because like I really spoiled myself with it. And you know what? I've put so much of that sugar in my system, and unfortunately, I was never really much of a gym person, obviously. So, but I
Yeah.
obviously got to start. I don't trust gyms because I don't like the fact that they save your debit card information, even whether you go or not. So, a little bit
They're all a
scammy.
big scam.
Yeah, a little bit scammy. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So, how was your flight home from New Jersey HorrorCon? No, New Jersey HorrorCon. Yeah, it was.
It was good. It was good. I had a 2 hour layover in Calgary, but it was good.
Good. That's good, man. That's great. Yeah. How was the Sunday show? I didn't get to go there, unfortunately, on that day.
Sunday was good. Sunday was as good a Sunday as I've seen in a long time. There was actually quite a few people there. I was really impressed. I was
Yeah, man.
impressed with that show all around. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Well, we've been waiting for all you guys from the Halloween sequels to show up for the longest time because I don't know what the beef is between the cons and all that stuff, but hopefully it'll work itself out.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
I'd
So,
like to get I'd like to get out east more often.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure we would love all that. I mean, like I've been going to cons since 2012, and I've met the actors from the original movie so much. And I've been waiting. I'm like waiting for all you guys to come out here. I got very lucky and met Chris Durand and Dick Warlock a
Oh yeah,
couple years back. They're all really nice guys. And Don Shanks,
yeah.
yeah, Don Shanks. He was a pretty built up guy in 2012, and I was actually taller than he is, but he had no problem picking me up off the ground. It was
No, he's always super fit,
oh
and he told me one time it's not even diet, Brad. You just got to train every day, do something every day, just be consistent, do something physical every day, and he's right, because he's as fit as any guy his age I've ever seen.
oh, I know. He's in amazing shape. He still looks good. He still looks
Mm.
good. And the guy apparently, he was on that show. What was it, The Coal Mine or something?
Oh yeah.
And he wrestled a grizzly bear, and I'm like, holy, like, whoa, like, I don't, would you do that? Like, would you ever agree to do something like that?
Well, I worked on a movie called Alaska. I was doubling Charlton Heston actually, and I had to wrestle with this 300-pound polar bear cub.
Really?
And there's no man in the world's gonna. People don't understand how strong wild animals are. I've been on Bird on the Wire. We Monty Cox, the animal handler, took us into the cage with a tiger, and they're just a big cat purring away, but just its tail leaning on me felt like Hulk Hogan pushing me over. I mean, the power of those animals is just it's nothing we can relate to.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I mean, I don't know like how that even works. Like, do they like when you guys get hired to do your stunt work? Do they have to tell you everything that you're going to be doing ahead of time, or do they usually wait till afterwards when you're already hired?
Oh no, when someone calls you to do some work, when you're young, you don't ask. But now that I'm older, I always want to know if it's something I can still do. But even back when I was younger, just to mentally prepare so you can visualize how you're going to deal with it. Um, yeah, I mean, if it's ever anything going to be dangerous, they will tell you, look, this is what the deal is. They will give you the option to take the job or not. But of course, it's never cool as it's never acceptable to say no as a young person. As when you're young, you're supposed to be bulletproof as a stunt person, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, geez, I mean, we're about to get into it now, but I mean, like all the stunts that you did in Resurrection were like, I mean, yeah, I'm about to, I'm about to ask you it, but hell, I'm going to skip down to it because I'm very curious. What was it like shooting Jamie Lee Curtis's death scene when you're hanging upside down?
Well, Donnie Keegan, Jamie's double, was the American coordinator. I was the Canadian. She was very good about making sure I got taken down every. I don't think I hung up there ever for much more than a minute, because she was very, very clear that you hang upside down too long, and you'll start to pop blood vessels in your eyes, and it can cause problems. So, no, she was really good about that. I never ever felt uncomfortable for any amount of time that I hung upside down. She was really good about that.
Oh man, I don't know how you do that, man. I would not like. I could just imagine, when you're hanging upside down, the blood is probably like rushing to your head. You probably
Oh
feel like
yeah,
your head's gonna like explode, and like, and plus you're wearing that mask that probably really makes it hard to breathe.
all the condensation's running into your nostrils.
I'll bet, and you're probably sweating like crazy.
Oh yeah,
Oh man, yeah, man. Oh, look at all these. Are you getting all these questions on your end? Are you like all those
I
people
I
saying?
I can see some stuff, but I I don't know. I see a name and I see hi and I see. I just forgot the O, and then you look like the gay neighbor. I don't know what that is.
You know what? That's probably my neighbor. He's probably talking about me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably my neighbor. I don't know if that's actually him or not, but if it is him, he's a kid. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man. But if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Brad, please feel free to ask him. I see you're all saying hi. One Eye Gaming is asking what's good.
I don't know what that means, but everything's good.
What's up? I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically that. All right. Well, I'll start with the first question. Obviously, with how did you get involved in stunt work?
Well, when I was 13, I fell in love with. I saw this movie Fists of Fury, and I fell in love with Bruce Lee and the martial arts. And I convinced my dad to let me join the local karate school. There was only one in our little country town. But the guy that was my instructor, and this is like June 1974, he was a green belt named Tony Morelli. Well, he went on to become the WKA World Champion Cruiserweight Kickboxing Champion.
Mhm.
And because he was a world champion, um, the, the Vancouver stunt guys uh, sort of recruited him just on the spot. He was doing some stand-in work, and they decided that if we had a world champion in our group, it would make us look good. So they dragged they recruited him, and he just sort of dragged me along. He said, look, if this is something you want to do, but I was young and I always wanted to be an actor, and I was traveling the world and whatnot. And after I came back from my trip around the world, it was I was on set one day with Ken Kersinger, and afterwards we went for a beer, and Ken Kersinger is the one that said, Brad, if you get a page or a headshot and a resume, I'll take you around and introduce you to everybody. And we were he took me under his wing, and we've been cohorts and teammates ever since. And that was 40 years ago, 30 something years ago. And yeah, it was just, I knew a guy. That's, like, I've had a million jobs in my life, Joe, and I've only ever had one that I actually got from applying for the job. Everyone else was, because it was nepotism. I knew somebody.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, and that I know. Obviously, Ken's known for playing Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, but of course, he had also done some stunt work for Kane Hodder in Jason Takes Manhattan. Uh,
Yes.
had he already done Jason Takes Manhattan at that point? Are you? I think that came out in like what was it, 89
Oh
probably. I think.
yeah, that was a long time ago, long before he did Jason and Freddy.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing because I think Ken's actually taller than Kane, isn't he?
Oh, much taller.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I know he also played the cook in the scene where Jason comes coming through the diner and he throws Ken across the room. And I thought that the stunt work that Ken does is just unreal. I think the guy is just amazing. The guy's like made of steel. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he was also Rusty Nail in Joyride 2. Was it Joyride 2? And he was also the grandpa in Wrong Turn 2. some other horror films. And he
Oh,
and I did a thing called Blackburn Asylum that's available on iTunes or somewhere. But it's another horror film that he did. So yeah, Kenny and I have done a lot of work together, and we do the conventions together sometimes, And yeah, so
yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Yeah, and also I wanted to say I'm also very sorry for getting the time screwed up. I didn't realize that it's 6 p.m. here right now, and for everyone that was waiting for us to go live, I'm sorry I messed up. I didn't realize that. I think where you live, what is it, like 3 o'clock right now?
right now it is 4:30.
4:30. Yeah, Brad's all the way in Canada, and I'm here in the
Yeah,
United States.
I'm
So,
just I'm just above Seattle.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, a little bit of a time screw up. So I really appreciate you taking the time to go ahead and do this way ahead of schedule originally planned.
No
So
problem.
I appreciate you, man, and I'm happy to see that you were able to log in. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, Joe. Like I'm 65 in July, and I don't know technology at all. Like when you said to sign in, I'm going. I
Uh,
tried the search thing and I tried to.
no, yeah, trust me, man. No worries. Don't worry about it because it's amazing. Every time one of these apps gets updated in some way, they make it
Yeah.
so much more harder to find stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that the truth, Joe? As soon as whenever I do a new update, I get I get lost. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I know. I just started doing some DoorDash on the side, and you know what? I had to update my phone to a whole whole other whole other system, and when I updated it, everything was like so reorganized, and the
Yeah.
photo
Yeah.
albums were differently.
Like a whole new format.
I know. I'm like, oh no, please not this shit. Oh god, I can't stand it. Oh, I can't stand any of that. So, how did the opportunity to play Michael Myers come to you?
Joe, I was working on a low budget a kids show for Fox called Lost Luchadors.
Hmm.
These guys were Mexican wrestlers by day and crime fighters. 8 episodes, and then my stunt coordinator went off to do a feature, and he left me with the last 5 episodes. So I was the stunt coordinator and the stunt double, making really good cake. We finished 13 episodes, and we were all on hiatus. But the show was 99% certain we were coming back for another season. But one of the ADs that I worked with, a guy named Brian Knight, he went and had an interview with the Halloween people as a professional courtesy because he had no intention of taking the job. But during his interview, they mentioned that they weren't sure who they were going to use for Michael Myers because they were all very new to Vancouver, and they didn't know who they were going to use as for the back in the old days the productions when they brought American coordinators up. They would always hire a Canadian to match the American coordinator to help the American find out who's who in the zoo because they don't know the stunt people in Vancouver. So anyway, Brian says you know who you should talk to is Brad Loree. And so the next day I'm driving in my car and I get this phone call from this production manager named Tracy Long. And first thing she says is, Brad, how tall are you? I said, I'm 6'2.5". Oh, perfect. Can you come in tomorrow to meet the executives? I said, yeah, I suppose. But Joe, I hadn't seen the movie in 18 years. And when she said, and I'm driving, so I wasn't really half paying attention. I thought she was looking for a stunt double for Mike Myers, the guy from Toronto who plays Austin Powers. And I thought, boy, his career sure is going in the toilet. Anyway, I went in, met everybody. I did the walk for the director, for Rick Rosenthal. I did it 2 or 3 times. And he looked at Paul Freeman, the producer, said, yeah, he'll be fine. And then Paul said, now listen, Brad, you're the first guy we're talking to. And we got to consider other people. You don't have the job yet, but if we do decide to go with you, you got to go to LA and cast your head so we can build the mask around your face and whatnot. And I said, wait. I got to go all the way to LA just to double some hummy actor. And they said, no. You're not going to double the guy. You're going to be the guy. And that's when the actor and the fan of the first Halloween movie said, Brad, you got to take this job. Because I up until they said you're going to be the guy, I was just going to get somebody else. It wasn't for me. But when they said you're going to be Michael Myers, I said, okay. And so, Joe, I took the Halloween job. My friend Dean ended up taking Lost Luchadors the second season. And they only did, they were in the middle of the third episode. The producers walked on set, pulled the plug, and said, "That's it, we're done." They shut the show down. So I made the right choice, and now I get to do these conventions the rest of my life, and I make new friends like yourself every time I go to a show, and Ken and I both been on disability since 2009.
Mm,
And so thank God we have these conventions to get us out of the house because yeah. Anyway, it's been a tough haul sitting around with nothing to do. And I gained so much weight during the pandemic. I can't I can barely walk right now, so I can't work. Ken and I are both members of the stunt group up here in Vancouver, Stunts Canada. And our coordinators always try to keep the work to ourselves, and we try to hire our members first. And but I've turned down. I rather chop off a year than turn down work, but I'm just too fat right now. And I've just been diagnosed as asthmatic, so I have a tough time breathing sometimes. But that's how
mhm.
I got the job, Joe. And that's a long story, even longer.
Oh wow, man. Yeah. Well, yeah, man. Well, you know what? I mean, obviously, it's during the pandemic, everybody gained weight, man. I mean, trust me, I look at pictures of myself from 2019, and I just want to cry.
Yeah,
I just want to cry. I'm trying so hard to go on a diet, and it's so hard because I love to eat. And you know that what they say is that like as the day goes on, and you probably going through your average day, you probably can kill about 5 pounds just walking around and everything. But of course, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. You really got to work hard, change your diet, and like go through a whole entire process of workout routines just to try to get yourself back into shape. And it's a pain in the ass.
and you got to stay away from DoorDash, Joe, because I know you're not ordering salads.
Yeah, you got me. You got me.
Hey, I know all about DoorDash. I'm a 2-3 times a day guy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't order off DoorDash or Uber Eats, man. I basically just use it to get my money back every time I spend money on food.
Sure.
It's my way to get my money back, basically.
Yeah.
It's a nice little side gig so I can save up all my money and just try to go to as many of these shows as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always love them. Oh man, apparently my friend Dan says there's a little heads up with the audio is in and out. I don't know if that's just because we're live right now. Yeah, I'm sorry guys if you're having some issues with the audio. I don't really know how to fix that, but like this, if you want to keep just submitting some questions for Brad, and I will tell him during this interview, and then you guys can probably just watch it again when it's officially uploaded to the YouTube channel. I'm sorry if there's an issue. Um, yeah, that's a shame. I don't know what the deal is with the audio right now,
No,
but
because I can hear you fine.
yeah, I can hear you fine too. But apparently, some people are having a hard time. I don't know if it's a Wi-Fi situation. I'm connected to a Wi-Fi. I'm
That could.
pretty sure you are.
Yeah. I know.
Um, all right, well, guys, yeah, I think it's probably just because we're live right now, but just watch this again, ask questions if you like, and just watch it again during the interview, and you'll see what his answer is. But okay, well, yeah, but no, DoorDash and Uber Eats, I do not order from that because I'll tell you, my mom orders from it all the damn time. And guess who has to go out? She's really nice and always calls me and says, "Joe, can you go get my food?" So it's nice enough she gives me a little bit of a routine down the steps, up the stairs, down the steps, up the stairs. So I'm grateful to her for that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? My friend Dan just asked you a question, and it's coincidentally the same question I have for number three. I'll just read his. Did you watch any Halloween movies to prepare for the role of Michael Myers?
Joe, I watched all of them. I mean, the fourth, fifth, and sixth one, I fast forwarded through because I think they suck. But I fast forwarded to see the other Michael Myers. I watched them all, and then I came back to the first one
Hmm.
and just watched it over and over and over and over. For me, Nick Castle is Michael Myers, and so I wanted to emulate him as much as possible, and so I really tried to copy him.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, because yeah, Nick Castle, his performance was very like natural when Dick Warlock in part two, like he kind of made it seem like he was being pulled a little bit. Like I liked how he made it seem like he was like this force of evil being pulled, and
Uh huh.
he couldn't be stopped. Like that's the way I always envisioned it because your performance as this character is like so beloved by a lot of people. When I had announced this interview on social media, people were like so excited about it because everyone's just like, "Oh my god, his performance as the character was the best since Nick Castle." So you get a lot of love for your performance, man.
I do get a lot of compliments, including from Dick Warlock, because Dick Warlock actually said in an interview that he felt that I was the best Michael Myers ever because of what I did with my eyes. And I've heard him say that more than once. And he's not just saying that to be kind, he actually means it, And I really appreciate that. But like I said, for me, Nick Castle will always be Michael Myers, and Dick. Because I thought the sequel, I remember, because I'm not a horror fan at all, but my cousin told me she enjoyed the first Halloween movie. And so I went and watched it or rented it. And then I went to the theater, I think, to watch the second one. And I thought that second film was as good a sequel as I'd ever seen. And I thought the Dick was terrific. So and I love Dick. I've been calling him Uncle Dick since we met
Yeah.
20 years ago. And he and Kathy are always so sweet.
Oh,
So
oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I had a chance to talk to Kathy at a Monster Mania convention in Cherry Hill last time Dick was there. She's such a sweet lady,
yeah, isn't
and
she ever?
I had actually contacted Dick through his email to be interviewed like I'm doing with you right now, and they hadn't got the con schedule yet, so they can't book any interviews as of right now. But hopefully, I'll be able to interview him soon.
Yeah, he's not getting any younger, and he keeps threatening to retire. And although I heard he's doing a show this month or next month.
Monster Mania, Maryland. Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm really hoping he comes to Pasadena in 2 or 3 years for the 50th. That's going to be a big show,
Yeah,
big convention.
yeah, that's gonna be great. Who's your little friend right there? I see you got a little pal right there.
This is one of my two kittens. They just turned a year old in February, and this one's always curious as to what Daddy's doing. I just don't want him to knock my wine over.
Oh, that's good. What's your cat's name?
That one's Eng, and the other one's Chang, because they're half Siamese and they're brothers. And I don't know if you know the story of the original Siamese twins were Chang and Eng Bunker. They were conjoined twins at the sternum, and they got recruited by some huckster from the States, brought over from Thailand, which was still called Siam back then. And, they toured him around like in a circus, and then they realized the guy was ripping him off, so they managed themselves for the last, but they were two Siamese twins. They both got married. They both had eight. One had 8 kids. One had 9. So they had the two houses, and they would spend 3 days in one house and then 3 days in another, go back and forth. But because when I first got them, they were so afraid of the new home that they went everywhere together, including into the kitty litter to go into the bathroom together. So I named them after the Siamese twins.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, there's actually I think there's a little question for you that I kind of skipped from One-Eyed Gaming. Well, looks like probably autocorrect probably messed them up a little bit. Do you like? Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I just read it wrong. Do you like being part of an emotionally charged, thrilling scene, more of a slow burn and a methodical kind of scene?
I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by it too. I'm sorry, One-Eyed Gaming. I think autocorrect probably got you a little bit there. Yeah, I'm always having issues with autocorrect. They're always, for some reason, autocorrect never heard of the word off. It changes it to over or something like that. My autocorrect acts so dumb.
Well, here I see Dan is asking, what is something that surprised you and something you wish could be better about the convention scene? Well, the only thing I would change is I'd have all the flights be nonstop. Because I was in Syracuse last weekend, and I had to fly from Syracuse to Washington, Washington to San Francisco, San Francisco to Vancouver, and that's the last time I do 3 flights, going or coming. But that's the one thing I would change.
Uh,
And the only thing that I'm surprised by is just the horror fans always impress me with how loyal they are to their genre and how much they love it. And just how friendly and kind they are to one another. It's really, really beautiful. And but that's what the only thing I change is the flights.
Mm. Oh, trust me, I coming from Canada, I could totally understand that. Do you get many cons out in Canada?
No, I know I did one in Vancouver, Ken. I did one in Vancouver years ago. It was called the Fan Expo, but I know there's one in Calgary. There's one in Niagara Falls. The guy said he was going to have me out. He never has. I'm going to one in Halifax in. I'm going to one in Halifax in May, and that's only the second one I've ever done in Canada. But here's another question from Dan. Oh no, from One Eyed. What do you being someone who has played the character of Michael, do you like most about the character, or is there any that you find most that you can relate to? What I liked about Michael before uh what's his face? Who's the rock star director? What's his name?
John Carpenter?
No, the rock star.
Oh, the with Mark Wahlberg.
No, dude.
Oh, I thought you meant the movie Rockstar.
The rock star director. Who's the guy that did Halloween after my movie?
Rob Zombie. Oh, Rob
Rob
Zombie.
Zombie. That, yeah. The thing I liked about Michael before Rob Zombie divulged everything about the guy was the mystique around the character, like why he kills and why he moves and why he's super strong. All these things were, you know, very cryptic and mystical to us until he did his movie and showed us way too much backstory and just he took all the mystery out of the guy. But as far as relating to him, I don't relate to Michael Myers. Other than he walks very slow.
Uh, that's funny. Yeah, you never had an urge to kill anybody, I hope.
No, no. Well, there's only one guy I have a beef with in the whole world, and nothing's ever going to come of that.
Oh well. But let's see. What was the uh yeah, Rob yeah, but well yeah, what Rob Zombie did with the franchise. I remember I actually went and I saw it in 2008. I actually saw an interview that he did on Kimmel before he had even shot anything for the movie. It was just right after he had recently agreed to do it. And his thought was like, like he wanted to bring it back to he felt like the character had gotten less and less scary as the sequels went on, which I never understood because he always terrified the crap out of me.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but the he had said that he wants to like his inspiration was kind of like the what Chris Nolan was doing with the Batman movies at the time. Bringing them into the reality sense and getting away from the comic books. Showing what these characters would look like if they existed within the reality sense, like making Batman's gadgets and cars all military-ish.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say while I kind of like understood what he was going for, but I did think that he went a little overboard with the gore and he loves gore and there's a lot of he does have a lot of rape scenes in his movies, like
Well,
violence and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Devil's Rejects, and that crap doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I watched. My friend was actually mad at me because I watched Devil's Rejects before House of a Thousand Corpses, and apparently House of a Thousand Corpses was first, and then it was Devil's Rejects. But I
Oh,
didn't know. Titles are very different.
oh, yeah. See, yeah. There's very few horror. Well, I haven't watched a lot of horror films. I mean, I think The Exorcist is. I think the first Halloween's a a timeless classic. I think the first Exorcist is a timeless classic, and But I mean, when I was a kid, I was dating this girl that only wanted to watch horror films, so I saw Phantasm, and I remember seeing the first Friday the 13th, and I don't know that just didn't do it for me, man.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, yeah, and back to the convention situation. Like, I don't know if anyone like. I know Thomas Ian Nicholas does conventions, and I know that Kate Sackhoff, who's now on. Am I saying her last name right? Sackhoff.
Back off, yeah.
Yeah, I know. She's obviously big right now because she's on Mandalorian. Um, but yeah, I think they're you and those two are the only one from Resurrection that are on the con circuit, from what I see. Have you seen anybody else?
No, I haven't. I'll tell you what, I would die to run into those guys, especially. Well, I love Katie and I love Tommy because Thomas and I we got quite close when we were working together. He never really knew his father, and he didn't really have a big brother, role model in his life. And I'm sorry we've lost touch, but I'm really hoping to run into him, and we will one day. We will one day. And I ran into Katie on Battlestar Galactica when she was doing that here in Vancouver, and we had a quick hello. And but yeah, I miss those guys. I got along with everybody great. It's been really fun watching them all grow and watching their careers, And
Absolutely, I'm
yeah,
sure. How about Bianca? How was she to work with?
she was fantastic. Bianca was so afraid of Michael Myers, and she was so afraid of Michael Myers that when she saw me as me, she screamed and ran away. Like she was so afraid. And then she decided to get over it, that she wanted to buddy up to me and be best buddies. So we would go. She would hold my hand as we walked anywhere, And but no, she's an absolute sweetheart and a really fine actor. And yeah, I miss her too. I'm glad for all her success.
Yeah, I don't know. What is she? Is she on? Is it NCIS? Is that what she's a part of right now, or Law and Order or something? One of those.
She was on that show.
Dawson's Creek, I know.
Well, she was with David Spade in some show, and of course, I'll never remember the name of it. And but yeah, no, I think she works all the time. I saw her on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm as a hooker, and she was also, yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, well, a long time ago. I understand. Yeah, guys, has the audio improved at all? Improved at all? Are you guys still having some problems, or is everyone all right? Yeah, Dan's a friend of mine. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully he can uh, tell me
Danny,
this.
how's the sound? He left.
I don't. He probably couldn't. He probably was having difficulties. Uh, One Eye Gaming said mine is fine. All right, good. Oh, Beth. Oh, Beth. Oh, my friend Beth's on here. She said it's fine now. Hey, Beth, how are you?
Hey, Beth.
Beth, Beth. Michael Myers right there.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, that's okay. So, what was your favorite movie genre growing up?
My favorite movie genre, I guess, probably comedies.
Comedies.
Today, I like films about the human condition. I like films about people and relationships and their everyday struggles with life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a big Woody Allen fan, and um, I'm not really, people because I'm a stuntman, they expect me to be a big action fan, and I like action if it's well done and it's practical. I don't like CGI at all. Um,
Yeah.
Very good friend of mine was one of the guys that spearheaded a CGI guy named Steve Spaz Williams. He did the CGI and the movie with oh God, Brad, The Abyss with the water pod. He did Terminator 2. He did Mask, and he also built the dinosaur for Jurassic Park.
Oh.
They were going to use the models to stop uh, motion capture models. Anyway, but now today the films are like my friend was just talking about John Wick the other day, and I watched John Wick, but the script sucked. And I mean, I really loved the interaction where they fused gunplay with hand to hand martial arts. That was really cool. And I
Mm-hmm.
love Keanu Reeves, but that's just not my kind of film.
Yeah.
Um, the closest thing to that kind of film that was growing up with Clint Eastwood's films, like because I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan too. You know, huge Clint Eastwood fan, and but today it's really hard to find movies that I could finish watching. I've turned off a lot of movies lately. last really last great film that I saw would be Green Book. Hell or High Water with Jeff Bridges and Chris Pine and Ben Foster was awesome. I really enjoyed The Gunman with Sean Penn. Um, but yeah, I just films today. They're just they're but the world's not the world I grew up in anymore. My generation's over, and so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that. That might be like the biggest bummer of entering the business. Of course, you're happy and thrilled to be a part of it, but at the same time, it's not. Movies aren't made the way that you fell in love with them as a kid anymore. So like everything's like changed so much. And
Oh
by the time of the '90s, at least you got to be a part of the '90s. Was that still? Were they still doing a little bit like the things that you enjoyed at that time?
yeah, in the '90s they were for sure, but by the the millennium, everything's green screens and computerized this and that, and in another 10 years, will they even need stuntmen? Because I saw a movie just recently where somebody fell down the stairs, and it looked so awful because it was so obviously CGI. But you could see where in another 5 years, 10 years, another 5 years, it's going to be you won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
And what I think about when I think about AI and CGI is where are we going to go to hear the truth anymore? Because I mean, the lies that we already have to put up with in the media and the news. Now they're going to be able to tell us anything, and we're going to have a hard time disputing it because there it is right there. But is it real? Who knows? Is it real or is it Memorex?
Yeah, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I guess they use CGI because I guess they feel like they could make it look as legit as they possibly can, and it doesn't look like a little bit like too much like a puppet. But you know what? That's part of the humor of movies, in my opinion. That's what makes it fun. You know what I mean? It gives you something to laugh at, and like like there's so many movies that are like I couldn't get into Transformers because I felt like I might as well just stay home and watch the cartoon. The
Yeah,
movies, like it was just like I'm just seeing nothing but like computer generated stuff. Like I just was not interested. I'd rather see like them dressed up as the characters, I think.
I really think that these kids that grow up with there's a lot of kids today that they live their whole lives in a screen. If they're not on social media socializing, they're on their gaming. Those kids are going to be okay with movies that are all CGI. But for the rest of us human beings, who wants to watch a movie that's all animation? Because it's like you say, it's like watching a cartoon. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you go to the movies because like you want to enjoy like the fact that it's live action. They're telling
Yeah,
like there used to be something really exciting like John Goodman as Fred Flintstone or like when Matthew Lillard played Shaggy, like, and they actually picked actors that fit the characters so well. Today, I feel like they'll just cast anybody and make them look so goofy with their hair and stuff like that. Like they did a remake of Grease on television a long time ago that had Vanessa Hudgens a part of it, and Eve Plum from the Brady Bunch, Jan. Um, I just couldn't take it seriously because I thought all their hairs looked fake and just like I just couldn't do it.
really, huh?
Yeah, I just couldn't enjoy it. But Beth actually is asking you a question. Would there be another Michael Myers movie?
Well, I find it very hard to believe that the franchise is over because they've got a huge fan base, and it's over for Jamie Lee Curtis. Halloween may have ended because Jamie's out of the franchise, um, because she's always liked to bill herself as the star of the franchise, but the real attraction is Michael Myers. So I'd be shocked if they don't make more Halloween films.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think they've ever made a Halloween film that came close to not making tons of money. So,
Yeah. I've seen so many people make some really good fan films that continue from where you guys left off with it. And the Fuzz on the Lens people that actually are working on the Terrifier, they're helping with the Terrifier films, and they also did this film called Stream that I saw in the theaters last year. I think they got Danielle Harris to be a part of it, and Tim Curry was a part of it.
oh yeah,
Yeah, and they actually made a really good fan film where they pick it up from when Michael's laying in the morgue, uh, and it's called Halloween Awakening. So if anyone watching wants to go check out
Oh
that film,
wow,
oh yeah, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic fan film, and now they're all part of the industry now, and looks like they're doing great so far.
good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get out there as much as possible. Like I got very lucky, and I actually got to be a part of an Apple TV show of playing a DEA agent. But you know, it's an extra. I got no lines or anything like that. But you know what? It's I feel like it's going to be good exposure if none of my scenes get cut.
Sure.
And I got very lucky because I was actually called back to work so many days on that. And on the fifth day, they actually asked me to come back for an extra three. But this time we were going to be on location. And I arrived to the set, and it turns out wardrobe screwed up, and they brought the wrong clothes to the set. Because when we were working on the sound stage, we did the interior stuff. Now we're on location of where the exterior of where we are is going to be, and the wardrobe messed up, and they just cut the rest of the scenes, and they said, all right, you know what, we're not going to do this, and then my other days got cut. So I was so bummed because I felt so lucky to be a part of that, and it was Sally Field's son that was making that show.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and he's obviously having some success right now. He co-wrote the last Batman movie that came out, and
Okay.
yeah, I felt very lucky to get to be a part of that, and hopefully I'm looking forward to that. That'll be on Apple TV this month. Oh my God, it was called Seeking Spring when I was working on it, but now I think they changed it. I got to look up to what it's called now. Drug something about drugs. But Beth says, if you can do any horror movies, what will it be and why?
Well, I would, of course, love to play Michael Myers again because I really don't know horror films. I don't know what to say about that. I the only horror franchise I like is the Halloween franchise. Even before I got to play Michael, because like I said, when they called me into the office that day, even when they said you're going to be the guy, if they just said anybody else, I maybe would have played Jason Voorhees, but I doubt it because the other show was coming back for another season, and I was making big cake.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, so Michael Myers or nothing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Was Freddy vs. Jason shot in Vancouver?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. So that's
And they
how.
actually, the producer, I can't remember his name, but he called me in to interview me for before they looked at anybody because he had seen me on set being interviewed on the Halloween set. And when they asked me why Michael Myers was the way he was, I can't remember exactly what I said, but he was really impressed by how much thought I'd put into a character with no, in a mask with no dialogue. So he wanted me for Jason, but Ronnie Yu, the director, said Brad, I need somebody taller. So when I didn't get it, I was praying that my buddy Ken would get it because they looked at a ton of guys after they passed on me, and they ended up going with Kenny for it.
Ah,
Just the way it turned out, and it's just so fantastic because 40 years ago, I was sitting in the extras holding with Ken Kersinger and another guy named Ian Tracy, who's an award-winning Canadian actor today. But that's how far back Kenny and I go.
wow, man. You tried out for Jason. You didn't get it, and then all of a sudden they offer you the King, Michael Myers. I mean, that must have been a.
No, no, no. I had already done Michael Myers.
Oh, that was after. Oh, right, right. How Freddy vs. Jason was 2003. Resurrection
Yeah,
was 2002.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Right. Well, you know what, man. I mean, sounds like you got the best part of the deal right there, man. I mean, everybody loves Michael.
Well, Tom. Who is it? Tom Morga. He
Yeah.
played Leatherface. He played Jason, and he played Michael.
Yeah.
I would like to have done Jason versus Freddy, but
Oh.
the one guy I can't be jealous of for getting the job is Ken because he got me in the business.
Mhm.
So thank goodness, because anybody else I would have been too jealous of.
So you know what? If they ever put Freddy, Jason, and Michael together, you would be the perfect guy for the job, considering your history with Ken and all that stuff.
Well, that's on a personal level. Professionally, who knows? But I mean, yeah. that the fact that they pitted two franchises against each other, that doesn't happen very often.
You do a lot of shows with Ken?
Oh, we've done a ton of stuff together.
That, that,
X Files. Well, he was the original stunt coordinator on X Files, and I worked for him on that. And then we've done a fair bit, but first, as extensive as both our careers are, you think it would be more, but it wasn't, because he'd be working on one thing, I'd be working on another, you know.
Mhm.
But he only lives 10 minutes away from me, so
I got you. Yeah, yeah. One Eye Gaming says, "Do you think horror movies are misunderstood, or what do you think they may be lacking or could improve on, if anything?"
again, I don't know anything about horror movies.
Yeah, yeah. He's not a
I,
fan,
uh,
guys. You know.
the thing that I would say about that is keep them suspenseful and keep the mystique and keep the audience's imagination engaged.
Yeah,
Don't be so over the top, bloody, gory, and violent that it just becomes like a competition to be more gorier than the previous film. Because I just not I don't know what kind of mind appreciates, and it just takes that one disturbed kid to go and see Hostel, where the girl's getting their eye blow torched out to. You know, it's amazing to me when you hear about these kids that are into all this satanic music, and they end up going on these gun sprees. You hear about more kids being obsessed with horror films that they're doing this kind of thing. But anyway, I just think horror films should stick to teasing the audience's imagination as opposed to just blatantly showing a lot of guts and gore. That's my opinion.
yeah. That was kind of what Rob Zombie did with the franchise. He showed a, he cared.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, he made sure that we could actually see what Michael was doing to the guy, like, like see his insides and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, man, can we get back to the story now? Like, jeez.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Um, okay, so guys, keep on sending questions in, and I will get back to you. So the director of Halloween Resurrection, Rick Rosenthal, also directed Halloween 2. How was it working with him?
Rick was great. I nicknamed him Coach because he's a hockey fan, plays hockey, where he was back then. No, he was terrific. We only had a couple times where I just didn't quite understand what he was saying. But no, he was wonderful, and I've seen him at a couple conventions, and it's always nice catching up with him because he was a sweetheart. And no, I really like Rick.
Yeah, I had actually I got very lucky and was able to meet his wife, Nancy Stevens, who of course was Marion Chambers in the Halloween 1, 2, and H2O and Kills. She came back in Kills. But yeah, I actually asked her, like, I would love it if Rick would come to the East Coast once in a while, but I don't know if he's really doing shows that often anymore, unless it's around where he lives.
Well, I think Rick's probably a little long on the tooth. He might be semi-retired now. I don't know.
Yeah, but the guy is a magnificent director. I mean, like the way
Yeah,
he shoots a Halloween movie, I think he was the director that actually was the closest at coming very close to what John Carpenter had did with the first
yeah,
movie.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think that's what made the second film such a great sequel.
Yeah, and Resurrection. I mean, like he just adds so much fun stuff to it. And what's really cool is that Halloween 2. What was really fun about Halloween 2 is that there was like so many multiple versions of the movie. Like there was the TV version and the
Yeah,
theatrical version, and it was also the same way with your film because he like
yeah,
what he had done with the endings, shooting different endings, and we have all these great deleted scenes, and plus that webcam special, a bonus feature. I know you've never seen that, but it's really cool. Like he's showing everything that went down in the Myers house, like you're watching Dangertainment.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like, did you know that those cameras were actually on?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, when you watch him, Busta kicked me through the window, and he because they had wrapped the camera around me, They actually had a camera attached to me when I went backwards through the window, and they used a quick, just a tenth of a second flash of the cat what the camera saw. So, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we'll definitely get back to that topic. Absolutely. What was your audition process like? Like, was it just a simple meeting, and then did they have you walk a certain way, or?
yeah. I went like I said when Tracy called. I went in the next day, and Rick had me do the walk two or three or four times. He said, "Brad, I want you to imagine that your upper body and your legs are two separate entities, and that the upper body is just sitting on top of your hips like a pedestal, and the legs are just transporting around. Like, don't swing your arms, like just move, very methodically." And so I did that for him three or four times, and he turned to Paul and said, "Yeah, he'll be fine." And they never looked at anybody else. I
That's
on the spot.
yeah, that's really fun. I loved watching that. Like, I actually think I enjoyed that than the watching the all the kills and things in the movie. I just think it's so cool. You feel like you're a character in the movie when you watch that webcam special.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was like kind of like an inspiration from the Blair Witch Project. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I had just watched that for the first time, but I know that they were at the New Jersey Horror Con with you.
Yeah.
The cast members of that. Did you get to meet them when you were there?
No, I didn't. I saw the Blair Witch Project. It scared the crap out of me.
Mm.
But I was so busy at my table, Joe. I just didn't have time.
No, I know. I think you were probably the busiest guy that was there because like we've been a lot of us has been waiting for you to come to Jersey for the longest time. We've been very lucky to have gotten the people that we are, but it seems like New Jersey HorrorCon, the only Michaels that have come there are you and Tony. Tony comes to a lot of them, and when you were announced, we're like, oh my god, thank God, because like we don't know. I don't know what the situation is exactly. I know we don't want to talk about behind the scenes stuff of conventions, but it's just I just wish that everything could be just worked out, because that's what sucks about going to Jersey shows is the fact that I feel like you guys are just all locked up with these rules and everything between the cons and everything and contracts and when you have to go to a convention, do you have to sign a contract?
Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that Terrifier, when they did Monster Mania, when they had signed on to do the show, they actually weren't allowed to do any public appearances until that show. I guess to build up enthusiasm, to try
Oh,
to
is
get
that
people
right?
to get people to come to the show. That would be my thought.
I
But
see one I hear is asking, what do you prefer for Michael's storyline to be related to Lori or just another random guy? No, I like the idea that she was that he was that for some reason he was trying to kill his family members. Because again, in the original thing, we never, he was just a nut. We had no idea why. And I don't know, I don't remember what Zombie said, or what Zombie divulged about that, but I always thought it made for an interesting story, part of the story, that he had this beef with his sister.
yeah, yeah, well, Rick Rosenthal, when he did too, he actually had revealed that they were brother and sister, and that was like a real eye opener because originally that wasn't the original idea for the franchise.
Right.
John didn't want there to be any sequels, from what I understand, because obviously he was very proud of the first movie, and the end of the movie it clearly shows, he gets shot 6 times, he's laying there, you think he's dead. Loomis goes out, takes a look at him, he's gone. Shows that you can't kill the boogeyman, and then shots to everywhere he's been, and then it literally shows that he's everywhere. You can't kill him.
Joe, how
And
long
then
how
when
long
they did,
how long how long are we doing this interview for? Just out of curiosity.
yeah,
How much longer are we doing this interview?
until well, I have my list of questions. I have like about a couple more questions down, but if you have a certain time when you're ready to if you to log out, we can wrap this up whenever you're ready.
Wait, well, I'll answer your last two questions, but it's been over an hour now, and I gotta go to the washroom.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Let's pick a good one. Let's see. Um, you said in an interview that when you met Jamie for the first time, you had your girlfriend on the set with you, and she had just randomly gave you a kiss. Um, and I think your girlfriend got a little upset about it, or
Well,
what?
my girlfriend needed the truck that day, so she came to work with me, and I was unloading my stuff, my equipment, and Jamie come running up. Are you ready to shoot our scene today? I think we should do it like this. And she did it on purpose to stir some shit, you know. And she gave me this big dip and planted one on me. And my girlfriend did, was very upset that I didn't tell her that I was getting kissed by Jamie Lee Curtis. And I said, well, Donna Keegan had said to me that Jamie will never shoot that scene as it's written. So I didn't think to tell her. And anyway, it all turned out, it all worked out.
Yeah. How did you feel when you were told that you were going to be the one to kill her off?
Well, she was very happy to get, to be done with the franchise. She actually only owed 30 seconds of I don't know how they come down to this, but she owed 30 seconds of non-dialogue screen time. And she said, whatever you can shoot in a weekend, I'll do. And so, it didn't make any difference to me. I'm not that invested in the story. I was happy for her that she was done. I was very honored to work with her because, I mean, everybody talks about Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies, but I'd already gone through my Jamie Lee Curtis infatuation when she did the movie Perfect with John Travolta. That's when I had her posters and all that stuff, you know. And she was super kind to me and my girlfriend. She kind of played big sister to her, and so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about this question, real quick? This has been a question that a lot of people have asked. Why did Michael give the patient that was wearing the clown mask his knife?
Well, that's a very good question because it shows that he has a heart in a sense, and that he recognized that this patient was uh, perhaps like himself, a little off,
Mhm.
and he had no. It shows that he discerns between people he wants to kill and people he people he wants to kill, people he has to kill, and people he doesn't have to kill.
Okay.
It was a very interesting side that they showed by him giving him that guy the knife and then just leaving him alone. Same way as when Buster Rhymes is poking him in the head, screaming at him for dressing up as Michael Myers,
Yeah.
and then tells him to go out to the garage, and Michael just turns and walks away. What does that say about Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Because he does he know that he's going to catch up to Buster and kill him later, or did he not feel he wanted that he needed to kill or wanted to kill Buster? Like, why did he walk away? I mean, later he stabs him, so obviously he was ready to kill him. But these things are all things that make it fun. You know, we kind of try to figure out the guy out, and then Rob Zombie comes along and takes away all the mystique. So,
Yeah. How easy was that to shoot when he's tapping you on the head? And like, was it really hard
well,
not to laugh?
when we were doing the rehearsals, I was doubled over every time. I was laughing so hard. I thought Buster was just just awesome.
Yeah. He seems like a cool guy. I wish he did more stuff now.
Yeah, me too. He's not a bad actor.
Mm. All right. Well, we will end on these last two if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
After the scene where you kill Lori, they actually had a deleted scene that's on YouTube of you walking through the woods and you come across this car in the tent, and there turns
Yeah.
out these kids that are having sex in the tent, and Michael's just tilting his head, looking at them, but he lets them live. Why do you think he let them live?
Because he didn't need to kill them. He just wanted their car.
It was a nice
Uh,
car. I don't blame him.
yeah, I know because Michael, he isn't he isn't in he is discriminate indiscriminate with his killing. You know, he doesn't kill everybody.
Hmm.
It isn't like he's on a rampage where he just wants to slaughter everybody. He kills people that he needs to kill. He kills people that he wants to kill,
Hmm.
and he kills people that he has to kill. And so I don't know why he didn't kill those kids. He just didn't need to.
Yeah. What did you think about the idea of you guys picking up where H2O left off? Like with the, I mean, like the
Well,
stuff that Michael.
I thought it was really clever the way they came up with how does Michael Myers come back to life?
That was
Got
clever.
his
Yeah.
head chopped off, and it turned out it was the wrong guy. So
All right. I will let you go on. How about the fight scene with Buster Rhymes? How was that? How was that the film? Was he really hitting you?
He gave me a little bit of a push kick, but he didn't really kick me. You know, I mean, he did all this stuff here, but the whole fight came down to one kick,
Hmm.
and so it was. But boy, when I first started doing conventions, I sure took a lot of stick for the fact that Michael Myers got beat up by Buster Rhymes because people did not like that at all. And they
Well,
just, how could you let? And I just said, dude, I just do whatever the script says, right? You know, I'm just a stunt man in a mask. I have
yeah,
no say in. Funny how
yeah,
people think that you actually are Michael Myers. You know, they can't turn that off.
yeah.
So,
What's funny is that what you would think that I mean, it's not like you let him hit you and then you just let it go. You always like did something to like kick him across the room or whatever, something like that. You always came back for him. So I'm like, it's not like he like knocked you out, then you went down and the movie over. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Y-
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll end on this note. What was your favorite kill?
Boy, I get that a lot. You know, the thing about Halloween is all the kills were different, so they were all special. I mean, killing Jamie Lee where she kisses me right before she falls to her death. Cutting off Katie Sackhoff's head was a special kill because I thought at the time how realistic it looked.
Hmm.
And the guy that I killed with the tripod became a very dear friend of mine. Actually, we were roommates for a couple years after we made the film, and he has since passed away. So whenever I see that, I get a little emotional because his name was Brad Loree. He was a local actor, and when 2004 came and the industry just slammed on the brakes, and we all went from working all the time to working very sporadically. He got very depressed. He
Hmm.
got addicted to pills and vodka,
Hmm.
and ended up dying in his sleep, supposedly out in Alberta. That's the story we were told by the
Hmm.
family. And of course, my friends and I, we all questioned as to whether or not that's what actually happened. But anyway, so my favorite kill, I really don't. I mean,
You had
they were
good
all
ones.
fun. They were all fun. And they were all time consuming. But I have to say, getting kissed by Jamie at Christmas,
I think they
that's
should.
my favorite.
Yeah, that was a great moment. We've always seen the behind the scene photos of her on the sets kissing Nick and Dick and you, and I think it's great that they finally put it in the movie. I thought that was really great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I'm gonna end on this, but yeah, my friend Jenny really hopes that you come to the. She lives in Liverpool, UK, and she really hopes that you can come out to Liverpool, UK soon because she would absolutely love to meet you.
I'm applying to all the conventions around the world. I still have an agent, but I'm also branched out at myself on my own, and so I go on the convention calendar and I try to contact everybody, and I'm really hoping to get out to Europe. I'm going to Germany in 6 weeks, 5 weeks, and I was in London a couple years ago with Kenny. We did London, then Rotterdam. Actually, it was right before the pandemic started. So I'm hoping to meet your friend. I'd love to get to Liverpool again because I'm a humongous Beatles fan.
Yeah.
I also, Liverpool's my football team. So,
Yeah.
Joe, thank you for your time. I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
but we got her done.
Yeah.
And we'll
The
see you next time, brother.
Absolutely, and it's called the Love of Horror Convention. So please try to get out there. And my friend Amy also says hi. And she's the one that was at the con. Asked you about your prop knife. Uh,
Oh, is that? Oh, that's okay. But the one in the Liverpool show's called The Love of Horror.
yeah, the Liverpool Love of Horror. Yes.
I'm going to look it up right now and try to apply right after I go to the washroom.
All right, Brad. Well, thank you very much, man. It was really great talking to you, and I hope to see you again soon.
God bless, Joe. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
God bless you, Brad. Take care,
Yeah.
buddy.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.